It's in our nature because we exhale and we inhale. There's no inhale, no expansion without the exhale, the compression. And so it's learning from that compression, that going backwards, because it really is an opportunity for us to reevaluate, is where I'm going, where I really want to go. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Today, I'm going to be talking about backsliding. What is backsliding? That is where basically you've been making progress, you've been getting better in some area of your life, and you're going to the gym more often, or you're reading like instead of watching TV, or you're starting to go out there to try to meet new people, whether it's friends or romantic relationship, or it's you're working on improving your health, whatever it is. And then boom, you kind of like go backwards. Feels like you go backwards. You're doing even worse than before. So that is backsliding. And so maybe, you've been working on your New Year's resolutions, because this is coming out, early in the year, but a little later. And this is the time where most people would have given up because only 8% of people, I guess, are actually successful. 92% fail at their New Year's resolutions, or just about anything that most people set their mind to. So with that, don't feel too bad. You're in good company, but you don't want to be in good company. You want to be in great company, phenomenal company, which is why you're here with me. And backsliding is totally part of the process of expanding and growing. And even though I'm the author of Engineered to Love, Going Beyond Success to Fulfillment, our life is not meant to be lived like an engineering project. That the engineering has already been done. You are the result of an engineering project, yet our life is meant to be more like a work of art. And so I'll eventually share a couple of Michelangelo quotes with you. But there's, one quote that he has. It's the sculpture is already complete within the marble block before I start my work. It is already there. I just have to chisel away the superfluous material. And before we get to like, what can that mean when it comes to your life? Because you might be like, I don't want to be a sculptor. I don't want to do that. Just to refresh you, maybe it's been a while since you've seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but remember, Leonardo leads, Donatello does machines, Raphael is cool but crude, and Michelangelo is the party dude. So this is a guy that knows how to enjoy life, and I want to enjoy life, and I want you to be able to enjoy life. So that's why we are going to be taking guidance from Michelangelo here, who was the funnest turtle who wielded the nunchucks. Nunchucks. No, but we're really talking about the Renaissance artist Michelangelo, who sculpted many things out of marble. I think he did David, and he also did an angel. Going back to this quote of the sculpture is complete within the block, just he has to go and chisel away the superfluous material. Now imagine if Michelangelo was only allowed to do one pass over the marble, like only go one direction, like from the front to the back, and never come back ever again. What do you think that art, how well would he be able to get rid of the superfluous material? I mean, I'm sure he'd be able to come up with some cool stuff under that restriction, but probably would be nowhere near as amazing as what he created by painstakingly over hours and hours and hours going back and forth over places and getting off, bigger chunks and then smaller chunks to eventually reveal, the beauty of these work of arts. And our life is the same way. And that's really what the backsliding is it's an opportunity. It's very common in personal growth. It's going to be very rare to find anybody that, goes and grows without going back. Because really it's in our nature, because we exhale and we inhale. There's no inhale, no expansion without the exhale, the compression. And so it's learning from that compression, that going backwards, because it really is an opportunity for us to reevaluate, is where I'm going, where I really want to go. Because the reason this is the topic is because I've also been going through some backsliding in some ways. One has been my health. Like the last 2 months of 2024, I made some really great improvements in the area of my health, but completely changing my diet and starting to get a little bit more exercise. Yet, like January 2nd, I got like a really bad cold and then got better, and then last week it got even worse. Like this has been the it's one of the worst cold type things I've had probably for a few years. And it's really really frustrating because it's like but I'm eating better and I've got all these better habits and yet still, but it's also like, oh, I wasn't perfect with my eating and things like that. I wasn't perfect, and so it brought up, well, what does it mean to me to not be perfect? Which is something that I've, been through before, yet this was another layer, another layer down, closer to the more refinement, attunement, things like that. And then also a little bit like with my work, because big focus last year became working with founders, with startup founders of tech companies. And there's a little bit of like, ooh, yeah, like I really had some like big plans at the end of the year where I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this podcast series, I'm gonna do that. And it was just like, oh, I'm not making any progress on that. I don't have the motivation. And what turned out was I it gave me some time to reflect of like, ooh, there's some refinement. I don't just want to be working with any founders of any types of companies. I want to be working with founders who are actually already making an impact and just want to do more, not ones that are just fucking around. Was talking to my therapist today, and it used the analogy of I want to be working with people that already have a flying plane that is able to sustain some flight. They just want to go higher, faster, farther than ever before, as opposed to maybe you've seen it or maybe you've not. But Red Bull has this competition. I don't know how often they do it, where they do it, but it's basically like people create flying machines, quote unquote flying machines, and they run them. I guess they have to be human powered, and they run them off a ramp into the ocean, and it's basically just a question of how far they make it until they crash. They are not actually gonna sustain flight and be able to land on dry stuff. It's just how far will they go until they crash. And it's like, oh, I'm done working with the floppers. I love them. They got their place and that they're going through their thing. And just I've had my time working with the floppers and I'm ready to work with the flyers. And so sometimes a backslide is a great way, a great opportunity to reflect and then decide really either recommit to your why or refine your why or decide, oh, there's something else that I'd rather be doing. And it's really important to use this as a chance to not beat yourself up. So that can sometimes be the biggest practice is to not judge yourself, to not go like, I'm awful, I suck, I never do things well, but to really have that compassion to kind of like be the adult of your childlike self and just kind of like recognize we're always a work in progress, no matter our age, no matter our background, no matter how far we've come. Chances are we're doing something we haven't really done before. Otherwise, why the fuck are you doing it? If you're just doing what you've done before, you're probably bored out of your mind. And then some people can just keep doing the same thing over and over. Those are not listeners of my show. If you're listening just because you've done it before, thank you so much. Do appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. But it's probably not hitting you on the level of most of my listeners that are really wanting to do new things, have impact, create in the world, be able to feel joy in their life, connect, relate, things like that. And so and also it's a good opportunity to see how well your support system is as well. And I really got to see how well my support system was because basically in the last couple of days, everyone that I work with, I've now worked with, and I've gotten so many revelations onto things that I could change, shift, look at differently. And it's like I wouldn't have been able to do that all by myself without my support team, a therapist, coach, and various other people that I have that help me out. And so it's a great time to reach out to them. And if you don't have them, then maybe this is the sign of like, hey, it's time to get a support team. Because there's a quote, I think it's an old saying, which people's it comes from, but it's like if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. Something like that. So yes, you can move really quickly, but you might not actually make it very far because there's a whole lot of reasons. Like, you might go fast, but then you're gonna run out of energy, run out of steam. You might go fast, but you might just smack into a wall. You might be going in circles. Yet when you go with others, there's people there that are gonna have other things to help decide like what is the best direction to go, what's the best way to go. Like if you need to rest, then maybe they're there to support you. So it's a great opportunity to look into like what is your support team, and then to evaluate like those practices. And because a lot of times when we're going to do something new, like a new exercise program is usually really good. We always go like, I'm going to go 3 times a week, and we kind of have this idealized optimistic, yet when we actually try to go through it, we're faced with reality. What can happen, right? So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm really tired, right? Oh my gosh, I'm hungry. Oh, there was traffic. Oh, it was busy. All of these things that you didn't know until you started doing it. And so you're going to learn those things. And then it might mean you don't do your workouts. You don't do the workouts, right? And so then you're not going to feel good. And so then maybe it's like, I don't feel good. Well, how do I feel good? Like, oh, let me go sit on the couch and watch TV and eat a Domino's pizza and get the brownie marble thing. And then let me get the dough bites with the garlic dipping sauce. And let me just eat all of that in one sitting while I watch a scary movie that's gonna freak me out and really make me like all crazy and uptight and fearful and on edge and just have a hard time sleeping. And then it's like even harder the next day to go do the workout. Or whatever that could be. Who knows? I don't know. Just throwing something off the top of my head. And so once you've gone through that, now you can have a more mature plan of how you're actually going to go about what it is. Or it's like, okay, I got to make sure I got my shoes ready. I got to leave. I know I need to leave this much time to, get it in. I've got to block off the calendar. Or maybe I need to like modulate because it's like, oh, wait, I got like really sore. And so it's like, okay, so maybe I need to do fewer days a week of this, but now I need to add in maybe I got to go get a massage or I need to foam roll before. And so it's like you get a better plan. So there ends up being all these great things. And again, if we're seeing life as an artful expression that is about the creative process, and there really is no done. Because I think it's sometimes funny when I go travel, and it's like you go and you get, they'll have little tchotchkes, souvenirs, things like that. I was trying to see if I have anything as an example nearby for those of you watching. But oh, actually, it's in my other room. Because I like squirrels because they're just adorable and full of energy, and I respect that. And they got big nuts. But so yeah, I got two, of different sizes, and you'll see this sometimes where it's like there'll be multiple sizes at different price points, and it's almost like computer graphics, where it's sort of like the cheapest thing will look like it's only got like 8-bit graphics, and then the something that's a little bit pricier is like, oh, that's 16-bit, and then the most expensive thing will be full 32-bit. It'll actually look like the fucking thing. And so it's life is kind of like that. If you only want to have just the most basic, like where it's like, I guess that kind of looks like a life, then yeah, you don't have to backslide, but you're also probably not going to be growing. You're not going to be getting that nuance. But if you want the fullest life, the biggest expression, with the most details, the most intricacies, the most possibilities, all of the curves and the expression and the texture and the light and the color and the sounds and all of the things. A lot of going forward, but then also a lot of back to bring about the life that's worth living. And so I'm gonna end this with a couple more Michelangelo quotes. Dude, what'd you do with the pizza? No, that's not wrong, Michelangelo. When asked about, there's an angel that he sculpted. And I think this is great because it's like, in fact, we are the angel being sculpted, and we are the sculpture and the sculptor. Yes. He said, I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free. It's just not linear. Creating art is not linear, and so is our life. So this expectation that it's A to B, it's total bullshit. And you're gonna see you've been inundated with this, but in TV and in movies, and on social media, where it's just like you sign up for the program, and 12 weeks later you're the fucking god, and you watch the movie, and it's got the montage, and it's like, oh, there's a little bit of challenge, but now Rocky's gonna be able to win the fight or not. I haven't seen Rocky or all of them in a long time, but it's life's not like that. Life's not like that at all. It's you move forward and you go back a little bit. And it's almost more important how you go back. What's your attitude? Or are you learning? Because if you go back and you just use that as like, well, I guess I didn't get it, and you give up, then you're just gonna get what you get. But if are able to see that it's part of the process, that yes, you are in fact growing, and you can continue going, that you really only fail when you give up, then that's going to create an artful life worth living. And you are worth that. I'm worth that. We're all worth that. We're worth creating an amazing, amazing life together as well. And Michelangelo also had another quote. It said, I am still learning. And he was considered a master. So if a master of art can say, I'm still learning, then even you, yes, you, dear listener, dear viewer, you can also still be learning, no matter how far you've come, because you still seek even more. And for even more, that means there is more to learn. And if we get stuck on the how we learn, then we're never going to be able to learn what we need to learn to experience what it is we desire. So let go of how you're going to learn it. You are going to learn it. The key is to just set the direction and go, and to monitor, be aware of what's happening, and to adjust. Because I live near the ocean. I like to sail. Like doing water sports. And the thing is, there's currents, there's winds. If you set your direction and you just go chill out, you are going to hit some rocks, or you are going to capsize. You are not going to make it to where you want to go. But yet, if you are in it, you are present, you are with the current circumstances, and you are adjusting, then it is the ride of a lifetime. It is a ride of a lifetime. So let your life be art. Let your life be that voyage, that journey on the sea. And I'd love to hear, maybe if you've backslid or had some challenges, share it. Let me know. Let me know, and maybe I can offer some perspective on how you move forward. I'm really good at that shit. Really, 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 really good at that. So yeah, so I do wish you well. It's one of those, like, I wish you ease, joy in making forward progress, but I also wish you ease and joy on your backslide, because you are making some amazing art, my friend, and it's glad to be here with you. And with that, thank you, and good day. Thanks for tuning in to Engineering Emotions and Energy with Justin Wink, Ph.D. Today's episode resonated with you? Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. Your feedback not only supports the show, but also helps others find us and start their journey of emotional and energetic mastery. You can also help by sharing this podcast with someone you think will love it just as much as you do. Together, we're engineering more amazing lives.